This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we are the ones that instigated you in the first place to go ahead and like and share this show on social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because it's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition, presented by Nutrition World in Fort Pierce, hosted by Joanne Seeger.
Good morning. Always a mouthful. All right, so it's the time of the month that I have my favorite guest on, Burt Goulding Jr. Good morning, Burt. How are you this morning?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Oh, good to see you too. Yes, I love these Zoom, right? A few good things that might have occurred during COVID, right? So I want to get right into it because I always feel like we're being cut off on every show that you're on. So I definitely want to get right into it. But first, we must do our breath work, Burt. And so for this year, I think I might have mentioned in January, we're going to do a different breath work for each month. So this month, I almost forgot what it was until a second ago. We're going to do the anxiety breathing method. So 4 in through the nose and 8 out through the nose.
Wow.
The 8 sometimes was a challenge for me. You know, when you have that go, go, go mind and you're rushing, it's like, no, just get this over with, you know, right?
And we're not holding for 5 in the middle of that.
No,
either.
no pause.
4 in and 8 out.
So
immediately.
I hope all the listeners will participate. So using your nose only, we're going to go in for 4 and out for 8. Nice, slow, and steady.
And all I'm going to say in between them is in or out. That way,
that's fine.
You'll know what to do, and we won't have to skip a second.
I absolutely trust how you're going to do it. So,
all
right, Burt, let's everyone relax our shoulders, relax our ears,
exit
relax
negativity.
our forehead. Yeah, exit negativity. Oh, I like that. That sounds good.
Enter positivity.
That's right. All right, is everyone ready? I am. Here we go.
In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In one more time.
Oh, no.
You're all right? You there?
We're good. I'm there.
All right.
Wow,
all right.
that was tricky.
That's
Burt,
nice when you can get into it.
How was that for you, doing the 8 exhale?
I liked it, so I think that's what I needed. But you're calling it the anxiety breathing.
Well, they say it really helps with anxiety, and I definitely find that it's very challenging when I have the go, go, go mind coming on. You know, it's just like when clients say, you know, I can't meditate. It really is just telling your body who's in control.
Yep, that's it.
You know, it's like, no, you can do this. Just chill out and breathe, right? So I like that one, but it is hard for me because I want to let's get to the next one.
Well, we know that most medical professionals agree that breathing is essential.
That's right. That's right. Available to all.
Yeah, free.
So Burt, we hopefully have some new listeners listening. So once again, I need you to do just maybe a couple-minute intro so they know who I'm speaking with today.
Yes, my name is Burt Goulding, and I am a clinical nutritionist. I've been doing that for almost 19 years now, and I have worked with over 5,000 doctors, patients, and nutritional clients. And so I've got to see a lot, maybe not everything, but a lot. And so I am the managing director of the Positive Nutrition Institute, where we focus on teaching and helping people understand how the body actually works. I also work for Positive Power Nutrition, which is a supplement company, and natural cosmetics. So that's my background. My wife and I have 10 children. I live in Southern California. The kids now live all over the country, but we're still here.
Well, how old is the youngest of the 10?
She's 24.
24. Okay. Wow. So, and how old is the oldest?
Just turned 40 yesterday.
Wow. That's nice. Oh my gosh. Oh,
That,
God
that was
bless you,
really
kiddo.
really hard for my wife and I to imagine that we have a child who's 40 years old. So,
Right? I know. I
uh,
know. It's a little tricky. Every when my kids, I go to sign them in their school logs if they're going to leave early or I'm getting there tardy, and I'm like, "Wait, they're in that grade already? There's no way. That means they're going to graduate." And yeah, it's a little strange. So I have a question based on a listener from last month. So you mentioned very quickly towards the end of the show how your wife was a naturopath, and the listener's question is, what's the difference between a clinical nutritionist and a naturopath? So that's your first
well,
question of the morning.
yeah, a naturopathic doctor. She can't really practice as such in California. Each state has their own rules on that. So when they passed some really restrictive rules in California, almost all of the naturopathic doctors went ahead and moved to Nevada or Arizona. But she can practice. Uh, she has her ND certificate. She's also a master herbalist, and so she gets into a much broader field. As a clinical nutritionist, I basically just help people balance their nutrition, uh, food, water, supplements, especially. Uh,
Okay. That's what I did explain as well, and I wasn't sure about the laws in California because like in Florida back when I graduated out of Boston and came into Florida, they had just passed the law where you can't be the nutritionist, you have to have the degree in dietetics, which when you go down that route, as you well know, it's, Jello is part of a food group, and Heinz
right.
ketchup, and, just like if you're in the hospital system, okay, so you need a bland diet, let's do rice pudding, let's do vanilla yogurt, I'm going by experience from a family member that was just given their tray, and there was 4 white things on it, and I literally gasped. I mean, I couldn't understand how any dietitian would be okay with putting this. What was the 4th thing? So it was rice pudding, vanilla yogurt, and I know my friend's probably listening and is going to text me any second what the other 2, but they were all sugary, refined, processed substances, nothing of any health value. And that just broke my heart. So, yes, I didn't want to be stuck in a hospital cubby with no windows, giving people those diets. So here I am running this way. Yes. So good choice, I think, right, Bert?
Yeah, and we use a computerized system called Biomeridian, which went through a lot of things to not just be FDA approved to work with people to give them an idea as to what's going on in their body, um, but also uh, it went and they kept pushing to get the certification that the Biomeridian machine would be in the same class as an X-ray or an MRI. So, not being a doctor, I can't use it that way, but I can certainly say you've got an issue here, go see your practitioner, go see your doctor. So that's something I did, and that's where I really started to learn how the body really works. It was very, very much different than what it was taught in college. So,
Yes.
but,
Right?
but once you know how things are actually operating, it's amazing to see how quickly a person can get back to optimal health. Uh, you just follow a few simple rules. It's not difficult at all, except for just remembering each day that, oh, yes, I am going to get to bed early. I am going to be drinking clean, pure water, lots of it. But as
Right?
long as you can remember it and do those simple steps, a person gets um, really very, very healthy.
I definitely understand that. And I have to say that early on, when I was helping customers, I felt a little intimidated because my mind kept intuitively going to basics, no matter if someone was coming to me with a little tiny sniffle or allergy or cancer, like my intuition was like, wait, no, just get the body in balance, the basics. And sometimes people are looking just for that magic bullet or magic, cure. And I'm like, no, we really just got to give it the basics and just, nourish it in every way. And it really does work, and once you learn to trust yourself, it's amazing what can happen, especially with your patient, client relationship, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on that note, I do have to give a shout out. So I have a radio show listener that's been listening to me the entire time I've been on radio. His name is Doug, and he is in a care facility now, okay? And we wish him so much wellness. And remember, Doug, they're going to keep you busy there, so you're going to be happy and lots of fun there. And there's only 2 products, Bert, that he requested to be used while he's in that care facility. And guess which 2 they were? Super Silica and Cell Power. So I thought you might like that.
That's wonderful.
Yep, because, I do talk about other supplements on the other weeks you're not on with me. So that was kind of cool that I want to let you know that my longest listener, his daughter even brought him in. So we took a picture together. And yeah, so Doug, love you. And I hope you're doing well. And yep, and he should be drinking his Super Silica right about now. Yep, and it's one of the issues for Doug is vision. So we thought of a plan of his daughter getting the glass gallon jug and doing the drops, first thing in the morning, so he can just pour the glasses versus worrying about counting drops. So again, if there's a will, there's always a way. All right. So Bert, I love to throw you off course. So here's the next question. I have many people in the area that are on pain medications. Most have the best intentions of trying to get off them or use natural supplements to go with the pain supplements, but I'm extremely concerned because some of these doctors are not working with each other and they're getting over-medicated, and they're still using, besides the heavy-duty pain pills, they're also using, the Tylenols and ibuprofens, and they're just, these doctors are not working in sync with their lifestyle to guide them, I think, properly. So one, I want to mention, get second opinions, work with all your doctors, make sure all your meds coincide, or with your pharmacist. But what, Bert, in your line, and I just got the C in. Your vitamin C.
Oh, good.
I just got it in. So can you start a conversation about that topic? Because it really is really bad here as far as pain and dependency on pain meds.
Well, my wife had injured her back several times, and so it's still really sensitive. But out of, she was taking the same things you were talking about. She goes, I'm just kind of lost, if I'm not taking ibuprofen or acetaminophen or any of these types of things. And at the time that she started taking even some of the heavy things, because she had slipped on the bottom stair of the house we just moved from, because we had raised all those kids in a 2-story house. So she was on the bottom stair and slipped and broke her wrist. And so she's tremendous amount of pain. But, all that has gotten better. But what she found is that by taking a really good brand of turmeric, it actually, with just 2 or 3 of those each evening, the pain cleared up almost completely. She says it's like 90% pain-free. So that is really a very, very good herb for that. So that's what I would recommend, that people at least try it. I have a brother who also has back issues that caused him to retire early. He was working for the California Highway Patrol, and because of the heavy belt that they all have to wear, they all call it the the police belt injury that almost everyone who's in law enforcement ends up with because they're carrying around 30 or 40 pounds on a belt around their waist. So I
Wow.
encouraged him to look into turmeric. He said he hadn't even heard of it. And he's been
Wow.
going to all these doctors. They're talking about surgery and everything else, but they hadn't talked about this one herb that exists that is just really, really good for
Yep.
that issue.
And I do sell lots of it, and that's is my number one go-to. I'm so glad you agree. I take it daily because I do believe in preventing. Because every day we're, up against that inflammatory process. So I'm glad we're on the same page with that. So, what are your thoughts? I have been conversating with the super silica and the turmeric. The one that I love is called Curamed by Terry Naturally. So I've been putting those two products together because sometimes the rebuttal with turmeric is clients will say, but the doctor says I have no cartilage left, so I'm doomed. If it's not a surgery, nothing will help me. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I love the fact that you're using both of those together because really, silica is what the body needs to uh, rejuvenate or rebuild all of the connective tissue. So we're talking everything from ligaments, tendons, cartilage, uh, everything that you can imagine, all the cushioning in the knees. I've had people that after 4 to 6 months of super silica, they've provided their body with enough of a basic dietary ingredient that they weren't getting before, that they have connective tissue growing back and restoring itself to the point with both hips and knees that they're no longer looking to do surgery.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yep. And I say some of these doctors are the same one that said bones are a fixed object at 18. So definitely want to get a few more opinions. All right. I love it. So when it comes to the connective tissue, is there any food recommendations besides the super silica that you feel like will help for the cartilage? Because people, as you well know, want immediate results. They just want to, have everything in a week. So, what foods to avoid or what foods to have more of to help with, knee repair, shoulder, joints?
Uh, well, on foods, I don't know. The other supplement that always comes to mind, and I recommend this, is to do MSM,
Oh, okay.
which is a food
Biological
grade.
sulfur, right?
Yeah, yeah, it
Okay.
is. It's a food grade sulfur, and that is really important. I would say don't add more calcium to the body. Out of everyone that we've tested nutritionally, there's probably only 1 out of 20 that actually needs to increase the calcium. But to make that calcium available, you do need the silica, more magnesium. I mean, all of these things, and the connective tissue in the body is not just to connect bone to bone. Most people don't realize that the gums in your mouth are connecting your teeth to the jawbone or to the mandible. So uh, connective tissue everywhere is important, but it's also where the highest electricity or voltage goes, not through the nerves. That's where the low voltage goes for communication. Okay, communicating damage to the body through pain. That's a communication. That's like the little red light coming on your dash when you're driving in a car, you
Right.
know. And then if you don't pay attention to that, then it starts ringing or dinging or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the nerves. But the highest electrical goes through the connective tissue. Those are the meridians. And so if your connective tissue is in poor repair, you're not going to get electricity to all the organs and all the rest of the body. It's like a broken electrical line.
Wow, that I love how you just said that because it's really easy to understand. So if there's an interruption in that pathway, then it's just a lot more than just about a knee that's not functioning. It's the whole communication system to the whole body. So I love it. So the super silica, which I know my listeners know all about, but we can definitely go more into it. And MSM. So the MSM, I'm going to just curious. Now, I had a little tummy trouble with MSM when I used it years ago. So it's funny, like when I personally don't have a great experience, you can tell in my store. I have two little bottles, like just hanging out there, hoping that someone will grab them. Do you is that because it's sulfur that I'm just sensitive to sulfur? Do you think?
Not necessarily, but what helps is if you take vitamin C at the same time. So you see, you have the high energy C complex 1250 in your store. That is not only the highest electrical potential of any vitamin C in the world, it's actually the highest electrical potential of any supplement or any food. It's the only thing to have passed up cell power. Cell power had the world record for over 70 years of being the highest electrical potential, which means that it adds that electricity. And then if you're doing the super silica, which repairs the connective tissue, you now have electricity that can get to all parts of the body.
That's
Okay,
amazing.
I think last month we talked about the book called Healing is Voltage.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. It's in my Amazon cart, but I'm waiting for my credit card free points to use them for the purchase.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have a minimum of 50 millivolts, or on a subtle energy scale, the same thing as 50,000 microvolts in any area of the body for healing to take place. Without that, the body doesn't heal. So you may have a damaged part of your body that you've had, it hasn't fixed itself in 20 or 30 years. So people get this idea, well, it's never going to get better because if it would have, would have happened by now,
Right.
which is not a correct concept at all. Once you get that part of the body up to the 50 millivolts, then the healing starts immediately. And how do you know you're at that point? It's by testing your saliva pH, putting the saliva once a week into a plastic picnic spoon, going ahead and getting the clinical grade test strip, putting it in the saliva for about 20 seconds, reading the color. And if you're between 7.1 to 7.5 on the pH scale, that translates exactly to the 50 millivolts.
I love
So,
that. I love that. And we do have your booklets and we do have the pH strips. So a very, very small investment in looking inside the body and really see what's going on. Okay, so that makes sense to me because when your body is operating right and it's under that perfect pH and that homeostasis, then that means your voltage is working too. That makes total sense to me. I absolutely love it.
and things start to repair immediately within seconds. As soon as you're in that range, it doesn't take long for healing to begin. Your body just says, oh, I'll take the voltage and I'll do something good with it.
I absolutely love it. Well, I promised for the new year I was going to do the half-hour break, Burt, so we're going to be right back after just a short break. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World and Wellness Center. I am really excited to introduce new guests and topics to my show every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on WPSL, where my listeners can call in on any topic. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to find it. We want to help you become the best version of yourself. We'll have naturopaths, coaches. I am looking forward to sharing my years of experience with my listeners so we can enjoy this life journey together.
Visit Joanne's Nutrition World in the Kras Square, formerly known as the Arcade Building, located at US 1 and Orange Avenue, across from Fort Pierce City Hall. Open Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, Saturdays 10 to 3. Taking appointments for the Wellness Center online at joannesnutritionworld.com or call 772-464-3598.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return to Joanne's World of Nutrition. Once again, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening this morning. I always appreciate all my listeners. And remember, it's a live call-in show, 340-1590, if you have any questions for Burt or myself. Oh, we would love to hear from you. And Burt, we got a couple questions during the break texted to me. So here we go. So this now, Burt mentioned at the intro that Positive Power Nutrition, besides making absolutely high energy, incredible supplements, they're also doing cosmetic items. And one of them is the Super Silica Spray, right?
Yep.
So the customer is asking, can Super Silica Spray be used on peeling skin, rashes, or sunburn? So I guess 3 questions then. So peeling skin, rash, or sunburn?
Yes, peeling skin, definitely. Rashes, I mean, listen to your body. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then don't do it. But a lot of people do that for rashes. For sunburn, it's actually the Cell Power topical spray that is much better for that.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when it comes in the 16 ounce with a heavy duty sprayer that will last for 10 years, in the larger size, it's called Sun and Chlorine Relief. It's still the same Cell Power topical spray, but that's what I would use for
I
that.
gotta text Carrie. I need another item. I love that. And I
really-
love the new sprayers, Bert. The new sprayers are amazing. Like after I shower, now spraying the silica, it's like one spray and it's like, boom, the body's done. I love it. Okay, so that one, the Cell Power spray, is the one used for sunburn. And what is it called again?
It's called Sun and Chlorine Relief. It's perfect to put on when you get out of the shower because most people don't have a good chlorine filter on their shower, so they're just poisoning themselves if you haven't taken the chlorine out of the tap water. But after swimming, after anything that you're exposed to with chlorine, it's just, moms will get the big 16-ounce sprayer that's the upside-down spray. It'll spray any direction. And when their kids get out of the swimming pool, they'll rinse them off with water, which of course is more chlorine water, but they'll kind of rinse them off, and then they'll go over and start spraying the Sun and Chlorine Relief and having their children just rub it into the skin. But even if you don't rub it in, it works. Now, not for heavy sunburns. The only thing I recommend for that is fresh aloe vera leaf. Cut off a leaf off your aloe vera plant and peel that and put that on. Yeah. But for the kind of sunburn that is pink and you just start to feel it, but it's not a heavy sunburn. It's just, it's sun relief, but it's not for something that you would use aloe vera.
Right. Well, being in Florida and, sun is pretty much all year long other than those 3 days of the year. It is a problem here, like as careful as we are with our children and ourselves. If you don't want to use the toxic sunscreens, it's a difficult conversation. You want to be out in nature. You want to get this fresh air. You want to enjoy the beach. But, especially with my Irish freckled skin, it's like I get 20 minutes and then it's like, okay, you're getting a little pinky. So it's a bummer, So I think this customer is going to really appreciate your answer, and I'm going to order that today. Okay, the next question is, it is about Cell Power. So when do you start adding Cell Power or Super Silica into a child's diet, and the age range and how many drops?
That's really up to the parent or the caregiver. I mean, we have doctors that use it with infants even starting at 6 months. But you only do 1 drop of Cell Power per day for every year of age. So we have families or physicians that are using the Cell Power drops. Say with a 7-year-old, it would be 7 drops, but each drop needs 4 ounces of water. So you just put the 7 drops in 28 ounces of purified or distilled water. Then you have it all mixed up for the day, and then they just drink as much of that as they can, especially for children that have asthma. It's amazing to see how many are no longer using their emergency inhaler after just 7 or 8 days of doing that. I have a great story that I always think of. They have these motocross tournaments for 5 and 6-year-olds out here, and I'm like, I can't believe somebody had a little.
I know, it's adorable, these little guys. Yep.
So one of the people that worked here was a grandmother to this little guy, and she had been giving Cell Power in his water for the longest time because he just didn't like the taste of, water by itself. But with this one, you get kind of that mild lemony or citrus taste. So he was so used to doing it that after he would run a race, he would get off his bike and run over there and say, Nana, I want power water.
Oh, I love it.
He wanted the water
it.
with the cell power in it. He would go ahead and do that, and he just goes, "Oh, I just love it." He would just ask for it all during the day, because he was doing a lot for a child that age with that kind of a
definitely, and that competitive
sport.
mindset already. Oh my gosh! So what about super silica then? What is the general idea? Like the cell power is 1 drop per year. What about the super silica?
3 drops for every year of age.
Okay.
And it's based on age, but also on size. If you have a 14-year-old who's also already the size of an adult, or sometimes a 12-year-old that's the size of an adult, then they can do an adult portion, which is up to 24
Okay.
in a day.
All right. Those are great answers. I'm sure they appreciate it. Okay, beautiful. I have the granddaughter, Luna. She's 9.5 months old now. And they were recommending online that you go from, Shelby breastfed, and then went to like the highest end formula we can get our hands on from Germany, right? Really good stuff. And now it's saying instead of using distilled water, use spring water. So I wanted to get your thoughts. So I think I mentioned this when you discussed water at length, was that we do the Mountain Valley glass bottles only. We have the 5-gallon tanks at the store. So all our wellness clients, it's either distilled or that. But for my granddaughter, I really want to ask your personal opinion on, should we stay with distilled or should we switch her to the Mountain Valley with mixing the formula with?
Well, that's the only spring water that a person should ever have if they're going to do that. Now, if you use spring water with the Cell Power Super Silica, you're going to have to double the number of drops, because really all you want to add to that concentrate, Cell Power comes in either a 1 ounce, 1 fluid ounce, or 2 fluid ounce concentrate. And on it says keep out of reach of children. So although you can use it with your children, you want to mix it up for them. You don't want them, grabbing the concentrate bottle. With Super Silica, it only wants hydrogen and oxygen, so H2O. So that's why we say distilled, because distilled is 99.999999% just hydrogen and oxygen.
Okay.
It only has 1 part per million that is not hydrogen or oxygen. Same thing with reverse osmosis. If you get a really good brand of that, it's only 1 part per million total dissolved solids. So you know that it's fluoride free. You know that it's
chloride free,
concrete free, all of those things. So, but with the spring water, because it has other minerals in it besides just the hydrogen and oxygen, you're going to have to use 8 drops of Cell Power.
Okay.
I hate to say these numbers because it's going to confuse people. No, but if you're doing it just distilled water. Now, the Mountain Valley spring water is the only natural spring in North America that is not polluted. All the other brands of spring water, unfortunately, because I grew up here in Southern California where they have Arrowhead spring water. Matter of fact, I was so close I could see the arrowhead on the mountain.
Oh,
we
wow.
used to hike up to where it was and saw where all the water was being pulled out of that. But it's no longer clean. It just isn't, because of the fracking that's been going on, where they are injecting these terrible, awful chemicals that are so bad that they won't even reveal what it is. And everybody, so you have to tell us what chemicals you're putting into the water table, because we're drinking that water.
Right.
So they got Congress to pass this get out of jail free card that says you don't even have to tell people what chemicals you're injecting into the Earth's crust. So that means it's polluting wells all over the country, and there are no other springs. But the mountain, we talked about this, the Mountain Valley spring water, they got permission to go ahead and extract that from a national park in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And it's from the time the rainfall hits the top of that mountain, it goes all the way through and comes out the bottom in the spring. It's 300 years. So because of that, it'll be perfectly clean for probably another 240, 250 years. And then after that, it'll be just as polluted as all the other springs. It's really terrible that we've allowed natural springs to be polluted with
Right.
really, really bad things.
Okay, so then I'm liking the idea of both. So if we use the Mountain Valley, just a few extra drops of the cell power, so pretty much double. And then if we do the distilled, so we're safe with either option. Okay, I like
Of
it.
those two, yes.
Okay, of those
But-
two.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they were saying for the formula use spring water is maybe over in Germany they have clean springs that haven't been destroyed. I don't know,
Right.
but I do know that our body absolutely craves clean water. I mean, it's how to flush out all the lines. If you're drinking 3 or 4 quarts of distilled or purified water every day, 7 days a week, you don't have any UTIs. I can say that very confidently. No one
I
ends up with a
agree.
UTI if they're having that much water going through the bladder and being basically flushing out all the lines so you don't have poisons accumulating, which causes the infection.
I'm so glad you brought this up because once again, with I'm sure it happens with the males too that are playing sports, but with my daughter, with sports, with school, not wanting to constantly have to go to the restroom, they dehydrate themselves, and then UTIs are an issue, as well as with my older clientele that are worried about bladder leakage. They're staying away from water thinking that's help, and then they get these horrific UTIs that not like 2 days. It's like, 2 weeks that they're lasting, and then treat with antibiotics, and then just 3 weeks later repeating that process. So yes, hydration, hydration, hydration.
And you can rejuvenate your bladder. So for the older customers that you talked about that are concerned with bladder leakage and so they're not drinking water, it's like, no, you need to do the opposite. You need to, it doesn't last forever that you're going to have that unless you do nothing to correct it. So it's the fact that the bladder is like a balloon and it's supposed to be flexible and stretchy so that it can basically hold up to 1 or 2 quarts of urine. But for most people, it's now become a hardened bladder and it can only hold, sometimes a few ounces. And so a person's constantly running to the restroom, not because they have a large quantity of urine, but when they go and they urinate, it's a small quantity, but it's very, very often. And there's a couple of problems. One is that, I have a good friend of mine, he said that the solution to pollution is dilution. Now that's easy to remember.
I love that. The
So when we've got
solution to
polluted, terrible
pollution is
poisons
dilution.
in the body, the solution to that pollution is dilution. You don't want urine that is 40 to 60% poisons. You want it to be only 4% to 6% poisons. So you have to add a lot more good, clean water. And it needs to be clean water. You can't just say, oh, I added tap water, because like I say, it has all these, they've measured it's up to 1,000 different pharmaceuticals are now coming out of the tap in your home, right out of your faucet. You don't even have to go get a prescription. It's just right in the water. They've got concrete where we're at in Southern California, because when we go and distill it and I go to clean the distilling machine, it's not just calcium in the water, but it's actually dissolved concrete. And so when it reforms, I have to take a hammer and a chisel to break out these big pieces of concrete to clean the machine.
Wow, that's a little scary, Bert. A little scary.
So what do you think that does for hardening of arteries?
Right.
Everybody's always said that that's cholesterol and calcium in your body, because it's like, well, we don't want anybody to really know that it's dissolved concrete that goes in, and at 98.6 degrees, it starts to reform as concrete.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is difficult to hear, but I know you're right, and it makes total sense to me. So when I got your vitamin C in, I was really excited. And one of my employees made mention that her husband is a follower. Oh my gosh, you would know probably this doctor's name, the one that's really against calcium, Are you recalling his name? Death by Calcium. He's famous for
Oh,
that
no.
saying. Okay, I'll text you his name. I think you would like him. And he has a similar story that we like talking about. So he was saying that basically vitamin C, there's nothing that vitamin C can't stop as far as a progression of any illness, cancer. He goes on, he is. He teaches other doctors, so he definitely has the credibility. And the last conference I watched was 2 hours, and of those 2 hours, he pretty much said, when anyone asked, well, what about this condition? What about that condition? Like whatever anyone asked about, it was vitamin C, very high doses. So I thought you might really like listening to him. But he also was really on a mission to help people understand that calcium could be extremely dangerous, especially with all these enriched products and most of these supplements that are garbage. So the vitamin C that you have is special. So I would like you to spend maybe a few minutes talking about your vitamin C product that I now have.
Yes, well, it's called high energy because, as we talked about, it has the highest electrical potential of anything, whereas distilled water is around 7,000. And the highest of any food is a fresh picked raspberry that holds the world's record at 26,500. That gives you an idea as to what the numbers mean. Cell Power is now double strength for the last 3 years. It's the same formula, but we just hold it long before we bottle it. It comes in at an average of 13 million. And then the high energy C complex 1250 was tested at 115 million as the average electrical potential. So you've got all that high energy. It's naturally buffered. Now, here's an interesting thing that I know that you know is that there are a lot of brands that have gone with what was popular maybe 10 or 15 years ago, which is to buffer their vitamin C product. They add what to it?
Calcium. And the worst type usually, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it does neutralize some of the acidity of vitamin C, which I don't know if that's a desirable thing or not. But ours is naturally buffered just using bioflavonoids, which comes from lemons, from all kinds of citrus. And we have 4 different types of bioflavonoids in the high energy C complex. That includes lemon bioflavonoids, the other citrus, hesperidin, rutin, and quercetin. Quercetin is what comes from the little dividers between the sections in your grapefruit or your orange. You have these sections, and sometimes people don't like to eat that part of it.
Yeah.
But it's loaded with quercetin. And if nature puts quercetin with vitamin C in an orange, then we're certainly going to put it with the vitamin C. So 4 different types of bioflavonoids and 3 sources of natural food-based vitamin C. And that includes acerola cherry, the rose hips, and then a combination of other high in vitamin C, like strawberries.
Okay. That sounds incredible. I can't wait to take some. Have you ever tasted the powder? The actual C powder inside the capsule?
Well, it's not sweetened per se, so no, I have not.
Because
done it,
I
but
was
I'll-
curious, because I know some of my customers will be interested in it, but a lot of them like doing like shakes and stuff and opening up their products and putting in. So that's why I was asking to see if it
Well,
would.
let me try it right now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Look
I've
how
got it.
adventurous you are this morning.
Yes,
Yes,
I've got it
because
right.
I absolutely love the taste of like that white part of the grapefruit where the bioflavonoids are found. I think it's just bitter enough where it helps my tummy feel better. So I'm actually curious if it has that bitter taste that I love. And most of my clients, especially when they do the Ion Foot Detox and they're showing the sluggish gallbladder, I'm like bitter, bitter, bitter. So, put a little bitter on the tongue and okay. And we have this on camera, so we're going to see Burt's expression when, all right.
Well,
Should
my
I do a
expression
countdown
right
or a drum roll?
now, my expression right now is that there's so much energy in it, 115 million on the Bovis energy scale, that the pressure on the capsule, I'm trying to open it, I can't open the capsule.
It's like,
I'm gonna have
no, it's
It-
going to
it just-
explode. Oh
yeah,
my
and
gosh.
it's a but it breaks down really quickly, even though I can't open it, is that if you hold it in your mouth more than about 2 minutes before you swallow it with a glass of water, it's going to start to dissolve.
Okay.
Then you'll get to tell me what the powder tastes like.
There you go. There you go. And Bert, don't you use really clean capsules? I'm pretty sure we had that conversation that you try to source out the highest quality capsules for the products.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it didn't even exist maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Is that it's not what's called a veggie cap, because that's 60% chemicals and 40% vegetables. So I think it should be called a chemical cap. But of course, that's not a great way to market it. But on this one, it's fermented tapioca starch. So the capsule is absolutely transparent clear, just as clear as glass. It dissolves very quickly. And okay, now I finally get the powder out of here.
All right. I love this. This is so exciting, huh? Right? All right, here he goes. He put it on his tongue, everyone. Oh, there's no weird face. No weird face.
That tastes good.
Does it taste good?
It does.
Wow.
Wow, man. Now I'm going to start, I don't know how I'm going to open these capsules, but I'm going to start putting them in my smoothies because, yeah, it has a very, very good taste.
I love it. So any bitter?
It's a little bit of bitter.
Okay.
But also a much sweeter than other things, and there's no sweeteners added at all.
That is incredible.
There's no coloring added. People say, "Oh, I just love the color of all of your capsules." And I said, "That you're looking at when you have like the organic Power Greens capsule that we have that has the ground up kale and spinach and nopal cactus and all the things in it, and it's this beautiful green color." People are just expecting that when you added in some kind of artificial color. No, you get to see the exact color of all of these things.
I love it.
I mean, we have one that's a tan color now that just started shipping today, and it's bee pollen and ginseng energy. So it has 5 different energies, and it's a tan color. And you're looking through all of our capsules. Okay. That color orange on the anti-stress B-complex Power 90, that is a natural color of the ingredient.
I love that.
That is just, and it also doesn't have that foul smell that you get with a lot of B complex because they have chemicals instead of synthetics in it.
Right, and I
so
hate that.
Whoa.
I really hate that smell. Like, and that's what I discussed with you when I brought in your B complex. Is like, okay, I was gonna give it a try, but I really had this bad relationship with B complex because every time I opened the bottle, I would just cringe. Like if Matt went to take his B vitamins, I'd be like, honey, open it over there. Like it just literally makes me nauseous. But yours, not only are we getting great reports back, we definitely need to probably reorder today or tomorrow, is that the smell doesn't bother me. You know, I could tell it's a B vitamin, but not like that, like you said, chemical smell. It's really nice. So good job on all these. Incredible.
Yeah, people will ask us, well, you know, what food source does your B vitamins come from? And unfortunately, there are no foods that are so high in B vitamins that you can extract it directly from the food and do it without each capsule costing like $15 per capsule. So no one's going to pay that for a single B. So it's grown on it's microbial fermentation. So it's still vegan. And it's still a food source, but you can't just, you know, a lot of B vitamins come from meat. You're not going to go ahead and try to extract it from that.
Right.
So it's a food base. It's totally natural, and it's really powerful. I think maybe I told you this, what my current regimen is, and I'll be quick with this.
It's okay. We got 5 minutes. We're good.
Everybody has their own, but each day right now I'm taking 4. I take my supplements in 4 different things. I have one of those trays where it says morning, noon, evening, and bed.
Okay.
So I put it in there. And I'm taking 4 of the anti-stress B complex Power 90. So I take 1 at each of those 4 times of the day. I'm taking 8 of the high energy C complex every day.
Wow.
So 2 at each of the 4 supplement taking times.
Okay.
And then I'm taking a positive positive energy booster 5 times a day. So 1 at each time. So that's my whole program, that plus Cell Power and Super Silica. And then I've been taking our new products that just started shipping because it's just
go ahead. You might as well tell me. What's the new product? Which one?
Well, one is called Immune Power Complex.
Okay.
Okay. Absolutely amazing. It has not just elderberry, and it has black elderberry fruit, astragalus root, echinacea. It has beta glucans.
Love beta
And
glucans.
also organic mushrooms for the beta glucans, where it's using the fruiting body rather than the stems. So that's one of them. The other one is the bee pollen with ginseng, which has 5 different ginsengs in it. But I've been taking that, just because we don't sell anything that we don't use ourselves and our families.
And that's how it should be, yeah.
The natural cosmetics includes the deodorant that I know your family is using.
Yeah.
And we had used that probably for 7 or 8 years before we started selling it, because, we thought, well, it worked for us and we love it. But I'm so glad that we started making that available to the world. So anyway.
All right. So we have 2 minutes. So maybe give some thought to toothpaste. Because, I think like Cell Power, Super Silica, all these things that help with the connective tissue, the gums, the mouth health. And, I kind of abused my mouth when I was young, and now, it's reminding me now. So, so I would love if you would engage in that thought process, because a lot of toothpaste the natural ones either taste bad or, I don't know. And your prices are so affordable. I feel like you make things at really affordable prices that people can stick with the regimen. I don't know about your amount of pills per day, but yeah.
Well, I have a practitioner that tests me, does a kind of a muscle testing type thing. And because I can do that for other people, but I can't do it for myself. So
right.
I always encourage people that are that are helping others with their health, that don't forget about your own health.
Yes.
Find out. And this is what it tested. I didn't come up with these amounts. And when I get tested again next week, it might be completely different. But I really have felt the difference. So that's
beautiful.
What I think is important.
I love that. And you're right. We do all need our own coaches. Definitely. Burt, it is a pleasure, and always a pleasure to have you on the show. And look at this, a nice calm ending. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next month.
Okay, thanks, Joanne.
All right, bye, Burt. Bye, everyone. I hope everyone has an amazing week. Come check us out at the store to see the new vitamin C by Positive Power.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, presented by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. Listen in every Wednesday morning in the 10 o'clock hour for Joanne's World of Nutrition, right here on Digital 1590 WPSL, the talk of the Treasure Coast.